So a lot of people ask, how am I adjusting? That seems to be a really common question. How am I adjusting to life in South Africa, life in Africa in general? And I'm here to tell you I'm thriving. I'm thriving. I love it. Yes, I do have challenges. Everyone will have challenges when they move down the street or around the corner or to another city or another state. I moved myself and my family to a whole nother continent, to another country, and there's been some challenges, but I'm grateful and I have absolutely no regrets. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Ashley. On this channel, Ashley in Africa, I talk about my experience of living, moving, and doing business here on the continent of Africa. I'm currently living in Johannesburg, South Africa, but I'm on holiday with my daughters here in Cape Town, South Africa, and absolutely loving it. And I'm adjusting well. I'm making friends, making women friends, men friends, girlfriends, guy friends, doing intentional activities. I just went to I think Kizomba is the name of it, Kizomba class a couple days ago. That was super fun. I'm so excited to like have that as a part of my repertoire. And meeting people. I met people from Rwanda, Mozambique, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and other parts of South Africa. It was super dope. I'm loving it. And I haven't been to the golf club. As I mentioned, I joined a golf club, but I've definitely been making friends. I've been really intentional about that the last month or so because I noticed myself getting a little isolated in between the cold weather of winter and in between really building my business and launching the Africa Investors Academy, which was a success. And I can't wait to share more about that because the numbers are coming. And launching the Africa Investors Academy 2.0 and that curriculum. So there's been a lot of heads down moments, and I was very intentional about needing to make friends. And so I've been doing that, and I can absolutely make space to do more of that. But as it comes to friends, I've been really intentional about making friends, specifically people that I don't know or that I possibly feel like I couldn't relate to. So I don't spend a ton of time specifically in African American groups. And while I do meet up with African American friends, have African American friends, have friends in the diaspora, I'm really intentional about making friends here on the continent that are from South Africa or live in South Africa, from other parts of the country because, other parts of the continent, because it's really been enriching to my lifestyle. So making friends from Zimbabwe, making friends from Tanzania that are here, making friends from Kenya, those relationships have been super amazing, very fruitful, very eye-opening, very enriching. And I'm grateful for those friendships because it's just affirmed the decisions that we're making in this day and age with our children. And that men gonna be men wherever they are. But I won't get into that into this video. Some of the next things, let me say, because I do have my notes. Children, how are the girls doing? I think they're thriving. I think they're doing really well. They're both growing. So they both celebrated 2 or 3 birthdays so far. 3 birthdays so far living here on the continent, and having a younger tween and a toddler, now 5. What is it called when they're out of toddler age? Tell me, I don't know. But seeing those changes in them has been interesting, of course, absent of family, additional family. But I think we've been doing good. The girls are very well versed, very well behaved. I am a stickler for critical thinking, so we push that in our home, and they're getting exposed to life. They're getting exposed to culture, they're getting exposed to different languages, different experiences. And I think that is probably the most exciting thing. So when we do talk to family back home and they hear their accents or they hear what they're talking about, they're impressed. And it's not to say that I'm like tooting my horn, but I do think that this decision was as great for me as it has been for them. And it's even more important for them because they're getting such strong exposure to a different way of thinking, a different way of living, a different way of doing, a different way of just being in their Africanness as children, when the West is over there going crazy. So I think they're enjoying, they're having different food. Today we had some Korean barbecue for lunch. We fell in love with this Indian restaurant in our neighborhood. We did some shawarma yesterday, right? So they are just eating everything. And I love that for them. I love that for them because I grew up as a very picky kid. I didn't eat anything until I went to college. I remember having to force myself to eat sushi and getting sick. In college was the first time I really tried new things. And so them having this exposure, we had ramen yesterday, sushi, oysters, clams, mussels. So they're living their best life. These girls are living their absolute best life. I will say that, even being here in Cape Town, one of the things that is a real thing and is very visible is the socioeconomic gap, right? And there is a strong separation from the haves and the have-nots, especially here in Cape Town. That is very clear. And, you have all of these amazing restaurants, beautiful homes, and you don't really see them owned by Africans. And, it's different to see it and then experience it, right? So when I've come to Cape Town before, just having a very touristy eye, you kind of miss out on those things. And even in this beautiful neighborhood, we're walking around and there is a bit of a homeless issue, and it's sad, right? Because it's like, these are beautiful homes, you're walking around, there's fragrances of, kind of loitering. That's unfortunate. And I think, that's been reality. It's been real for me to see. It's not a beautiful sight. And it's something that is a problem. It's a problem. It's a challenge. I know the people of South Africa are very clear on it. I know that there are a lot of initiatives. There are spaces in Cape Town where shelters are provided. I know that there are certain requirements around those provisions, but no place is perfect. Every place has its not so great things. Is it affecting my day to day? No, but I have empathy for those people. I have empathy for the people that, don't have homes to go to at night, especially in the winter. So I will say that is something that was a bit shocking for me to see, coming to such a luxurious place as Cape Town and feeling the way that I feel about Cape Town, but walking around today with the girls and kind of seeing the disparity up close. It was definitely something. And, I've been to different townships and different areas and settlements, and I don't feel that same energy, right? Because there still seems to feel a level of joy in those communities because there is community. But I do think that when you see people, in desperation that aren't in community, that creates a different energy. So I will say that has been a challenge in my adjusting specifically here in Cape Town, but overall affecting, again, my personal sentiment and my day-to-day, not so much, but I have a level of empathy for our brothers and sisters that are having these hardships, for sure. And so, yeah, I think the girls too, they got to see that and have a different experience because they live a great life. We live a privileged life. And so it's important that children get a perspective. But we haven't had that conversation yet, and we will. We definitely will. So if this is resonating, please be sure to like it. Let me know in the comments how you feel about some of the things that I'm sharing. I always tend to be super positive and super focused on the positive of the experience, and I do mostly have positive experiences, and sometimes I'm just sharing the reality of the day, of the experience that I'm having. But I will say that economic disparity is real, and it's not just here in Cape Town. It's not just here in South Africa. Most developing countries are having these challenges, and we got to do better. We got to figure out systems and a resolve to this, because people having these homeless experiences is a collective issue, and we have to think through it. So I don't have the answers, but I do know that for our children's sake and their children's sake, homelessness as a international issue is something that we collectively should be looking to solve. All right. So if that's resonating, please like it, share it with someone who finds value in it, and I appreciate it. I'm sure they would be grateful for you sharing that. Domestic workers, going into another kind of space. I have some help. I am grateful to have helpers regularly, and I can see how in the West this is so controversial, right? In the US. In spaces like this in Cape Town, where you see women in their domestic outfits working in these massive homes, it's definitely different. It hits different. Again, I don't have the answers, because these are jobs that people are grateful for having. I just hope, and I share love, that people are loving on the people that are loving on them, right? So if you are cleaning for me, if you are cooking for me and my children, if you are taking care of my home, I take care of you. I am gracious. I am generous. I am empathetic. I am understanding. And as much as I want to be hopeful that other people share that sentiment, I think it's challenging to believe, and it'd be naive to believe that that is the case. But overall, it's a value. It is a privilege. It is a luxury to be able to have someone help you in your home, especially doing work and domestic chores that I don't necessarily prioritize in building a business and being a mom. I share love with the folks in this work, because it's not easy work, and they deserve love, and they deserve compassion, care, and kindness and gentleness. And I am sharing that energy with women in that space, with men in that space, and with people that love women and men in that space, because it's honorable work. And I'm very much grateful to have that support in my life. I talk about this, and I shared an email, a personal experience that I had with our helper. And if you're not getting my emails, head over to the link in the description, ashleyinafrica.com. Sign up for the email list. You get a lot of private updates from me, announcements when certain things go live that I don't share here on YouTube, and information and access to resources that are only provided to people on my email list. So head over to the website and get on my email list to learn more. But around that personal experience, you guys saw a lot of my videos around winter and me complaining about my skin and this and that. And listen, it was rough. Coming from a tropical environment and coming to winter was physically challenging, mentally challenging, and emotionally challenging for sure. And I think my own ignorance led me to not being aware of how cold and dry and how much I would be affected by the weather. Believe it or not, Americans, we are not taught much about the world, and the things that we are taught about the continent of Africa are very minimal and very ignorant. And, the fact that we believe that the continent is either the jungle or the desert doesn't give us the conception, the concept of winter, multiple seasons. And that's no excuse. Once you are here, And even this weather app, it be lying. It be lying, because when I was looking to come to Cape Town, it was telling me all different types of weather, and it wasn't right. It wasn't correct. But saying all of that, it still was my own ignorance and not being clear on what to expect. And I was here during the cold, but being here for a few days versus a month or 2 months at a time for the winter, coming from a tropical climate where it is never below 70 degrees, never, barely below 75 in Celsius. What is this, 30? You know, it doesn't get below that in Dar es Salaam. So it was an adjustment. It was an adjustment. I probably didn't adjust the best, but I've got my heaters. I've got my gas heater, my electric heater, my blankets, my gown. That's a robe in South African. All the things. I'll be ready for next winter. I will definitely be ready for next winter. But I'm wearing my contacts now here in Cape Town. I can do that. I'm going to stock up on my shea butter, my cocoa butter, all that, my avocado oil, because yeah, I'm going to be ready. I'll be ready next year for sure. What else? So while it did negatively impact me in some ways, it positively impacted my work. I mean, I totally was heads down for the Africa Investors Academy Summit. I was heads down building the curriculum for Africa Investors Academy 2.0, which if you have an interest in building a location independent business for the growth of Africa, we would love to have you in the Academy. The link is also in the description below. I did some work. I got some things done, and you know, I probably was inside a lot. I definitely didn't do some things as it pertains to like my wellness patterns and getting out and working out. I did eat a lot of pop and a lot of what do you call it? Dumpling. I did. I'm looking like about 3 months with a little food baby. But we're gonna get that together as well. Summer's coming. It took me a minute. The winter definitely came for my neck. Okay, it did. It came for my neck, but I'm back. I'm adjusting. The weather is beautiful in Johannesburg. Leaving was a bit of a, challenge, but I'm happy. I'm so grateful that we get to do this, right? That we get to pop over to different cities, world-class cities, places that people forever want to go. Cape Town was on my vision board 10 years ago, and I'm getting to experience that with my daughters. And so like, that's the life. That is truly the life. I have no regrets about having that experience, sharing that experience, coming through that experience. And my experience is that, exactly that. It's my experience. It may not be your same experience. You may not understand how I'm able to, share such things, or, but I'm providing my experience. That's what this channel is about. And if you have an interest in exploring the continent, coming to Cape Town, I've got resources for you in my description. You want to join the email list, please also do that. We'd love to have you. And this community is growing, so I'm super grateful. I can't wait to see you till the next video. Like this, share it with someone who would find value in it. And until the next time, I'll see you soon.